do you think that you have to start to behave like change who you are, be different,
No.
be like, I'm the fucking man, like I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like how do you get there and still, can you do it and still stay this guy?
Yeah, I think you can. I think you just watch people that you admire and how they work. I remember back when I started, someone was like, it used to be that you had to be an asshole if you're a movie star. And then like Will Ferrell was a movie star and he's like the nicest guy in the world. And someone gave me him as an example. He's like, you don't anymore. You can be the kindest guy. You don't have to leave for other people's coverage and get like a double to play you. Like you could be a hardworking person that loves what we're doing. And you like build stuff. Or Adam McKay, who's like the kind, like he's so funny. And now he's like
the man. Yeah.
But he's still a great, funny dude. I think it's a matter of you work your butt off and you work really hard. Chris Jackson and a bunch of other people always said like the harder you work, the luckier you get. I think it was Chris Jackson or Charles Barkley said it once. But it's like I've been hearing that a long time. And so because I come from a very hardworking family that's been working their butt off since they've been very young. And so I had my first job before I legally was allowed to have working papers. We had to lie about them. So it's like it was it's like I think you are rewarded now for quality and that stuff more. I don't think that you have to be an asshole. And you could look at, I think Chris Miller is an incredible director and he's the kindest person. And he's developing 20 things with him and Phil Lord, who's also the nicest guy in the world, and helped write Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And you look at people like that, or you look at people like J.J. Abrams and all these people, and they're able to do incredible things while still being lovely and humble. And I think it's a wonderful place that the
okay. So that you mentioned a guy like Daniel Day-Lewis, though, not that he's not a nice person, but known for being this method acting, maniacal, like always on character, on set, freak about it all. And then I think it was Anthony Hopkins who like they once asked him about that, and he was like, "Fuck no, I don't do that. I just act when the cameras are on, and I'm normal when the cameras are off." Right. Do you think that like, you know, would you have to be that maniacal Daniel Day-Lewis to make it to that level, or do you think you can again be like your regular self and be that?
I don't think so. I think you can. Well, it matters. I think different people have different training and stuff like that. I've worked with some method actors before who, like, when you're on stage, they're in the zone. You know what I mean? You don't fuck with them until it's like,
that's gotta be so annoying, right?
Well, it matters. It's like,
you respect it, but it's like, come on, dude.
I've never met someone that's that insane. Yeah. But also I've met people that the second they say cut, they're on their phones. And I'm like, oh, what? I mean, like, and then like they're on their phones and then action, and they put their phone away, they act, cut, and they go back on their phones. And to me, that's like, which some people will be like, oh, who cares? But I was like, like we're doing something, we're creating something together. So like there's different versions of it, but I do love, you know, if it's not like a very emotional beat, like if it's a really big like crying scene or something like that, it's fun to stay in the zone so you can like ride it out. Yeah. But if we're just acting and it's whatever, oftentimes I found that doing bits or talking or whatever in between things only gets you like closer and like, and works the levels a little bit more. So I've seen people do it both ways, and whatever Daniel Day-Lewis is doing is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. So fucking.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm not going to take away from Danny Boy. We know his career.
And you call him Danny Boy, right?
I told you this before. What you do on Middle Dish and Schwartz, I think, is the most impressive thing I've ever seen. So I would argue that what you do, keeping it flowing, keeping it going, like breaking the fourth wall, talking through it. I mean, the hour-long improv thing is truly, genuinely, it blows my goddamn mind.
It's a skill set. It's definitely a skill set, which I worked really hard on for a long time. But then to me, it's like, because I've been doing it for so long, I don't see it as much.
Yeah.
When the special came out was the first time in like, you know, the 20 years of doing improv where people are like, this is pretty impressive. And I was like, oh, maybe it.
Yes.
But it's like, it's just that there's so many people we know that do this type of thing, you know, at UCB, and we've been doing it for so long that you don't really think it. And also I think I'm not very good at enjoying what's happening. I'm trying to get better at it. I'm always thinking about, okay, what's the next thing I have to do? Okay. Like, all right, we did this. Like, Sonic was one of the first times, because you had to do press for it, where you really got to be like, oh shit, this thing is happening.
Was Sonic the moment for you that it was like, whoa, I
there was
in my career?
It's so, like, I'm telling you, like, something will happen. Something very kind. A lot of people I looked up to said a lot of very kind things to me, because it was there's a span where it was Standing Up, Falling Down with Billy Crystal, Sonic the Hedgehog, and then Middleton Schwartz and Space Force, like all coming out in the same whatever. And someone's like, this is a big deal for your career. Yeah. And I never was able to look at that stuff. And then some people were like, but you know, now it's over there. So it's like, I'm not even thinking about that. Now it's like, you gotta.
No. I am here. I'm going to be your hype man. Okay. I am going to make
You're doing great so far. You guys have been very supportive.
Cause I kind of identify with it where it's like, I've never done anything, you know, nearly the level you're talking about. But when I have my small successes, I'm always like, it's just a podcast. It's just a this.
But that's what you have to do. Like, what's the other version of that?
Well, I don't know.
I'm being like, dude, I got the best podcast in the world. Fucking buy me a drink. Like, who cares? I don't want to be friends with that person.
No. And that's why I do it, because what you just said, I still want to be a person that, you know, someone wants to go get drinks with. But I do believe, I do know, at least in my business, if I was a little less self-deprecating, I was a little more like assertive about like what I've accomplished and what I've done, I think I would be further along. I think
really?
at least in my world's so
Give
different.
me an example of why you think that is.
I just see other people, other podcasts, other shows, other bloggers who are like treat it more like real show business. Who are just
what are they doing different than you are?
Yeah.
What are they doing? Like, give me an example of what they're doing different than you are.
Well, I mean, I don't want to air people out, but like just getting agents and the way they negotiate and the way that they.
Oh, you're talking about the business aspect of all.
Well, but even the way like they promote and push things and are like me and the mess. Our show will always be like, yo, go download today's podcast. Like we fucking, you know, we're a couple of assholes who don't know what we're talking about. Whereas I think if it was a little more like, yo, we are like very, very good with like observational humor, and we're very like if we just talked ourselves up a little more, I think the audience, the followers, the internet maybe would have followed suit a little bit.
But you could do both of that, and you could do that in a kind way. You don't have to do it in like a fucking everybody go fuck themselves way.
Yes,
I think sounds like something that you've been thinking about for a bit, and maybe that this podcast or your thing going like is a version of you taking it more professional. Even when you pitching it to me, he's like, yeah, we'll like have a more in-depth talk, and you know, like it's not as much bits as like this, and I was like, great. I mean, I would have said yes to whatever you wanted to do, but it's like I was like, all right, great. It almost seems like that's a step that you want to take. But why not? But your show exists because it's that fun thing. It sounds like marketing, and it sounds like you have a fucking MBA in business, which can teach you how to market in ways that you want.
Maybe, yeah. I got to dust off those old books.
I think something that I did also was I worked hard in business, like in the business aspect of it. I worked hard. I was always responsible for all my shit. I ran my own website. I do all my own posts on all this stuff. I worked that stuff too. And also I learned from my agents what this is happening, how a deal gets made, what this is. Like, I also learned that people on your team are the voice. So like my manager, when they're dealing with someone, I'm never talking to the actors never get to talk to like the producers or stuff like that until you're on set. So you are represented by the people that represent you. And it's like, okay, well, let's make sure that I'm being represented by people that talk like me and are kind and would never fuck people over. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's very interesting, but I feel like it's the hard work leans itself towards the business side as well and learning about that shit. And then you can make better decisions instead of being so uninformed that whatever. But I think you can be kind and work your ass off and hopefully keep growing in ways that you want to grow. Because I've seen people that I look up to be kind to everybody. Like on set, when I was doing Parks, Amy was so nice to everybody in the crew. And Cheeto was so nice to everybody in the crew. And I'm like, God, this is how you run a set. You're a family. You're not fighting anybody. This is the only way the show is good is if the fucking first AD is great, and then the DP is great, and the camera. And if you're working together as a team, that's what I'm all about. I'm from improv. I want everybody to work together to create something.